What's going on, fellas? This is Mike D, Mr. Double Down on You with Black Fathers Now. And yo, we got an awesome episode coming on for you today. We got a brother who's actually, at the time of recording, is currently in Korea. So he's on the other side of the world, taking time to chop it up with us on Black Fathers Now. So you know it's going to be something special. And, you know, this is an audio, but we also released a video via YouTube. And if you watch the video, you'll see this brother rocking some Kappa Alpha Psi sweatshirt. And I'm not wearing a shirt, but I was just like, I got to also represent Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated is the creator of Black Fathers Now. We bring in some of these other brothers, but, you know, it's all good. You'll see that if you're watching the video. But
1911 was a beautiful year, right?
1911 was a beautiful year, you know, and I'm partial to one, you know, November the 17th, 1911. But at the end of the day,
it's all Greek. It's all Greek. It's all Greek.
It's all love too, man. But fellas, we want to welcome my man Jackson Drumgoole. Now, Jackson is a husband, he's a dad, he's a soldier, he's an author, and he's a speaker who's driven to help dads live fully engaged and live fully alive. I mean, that's a powerful statement. And so at the end of the day, that's an intro that we're going to build upon. But fellas, in the Black Fathers Now family, let's welcome my man all the way from Korea, Jackson Drumgoole. What's up, brother?
Man, what's going on, brother? Thank you so much for having me on the show, man. I really appreciate you and your platform, brother. Listen, you're doing some amazing work, man. Thanks for having me be a part of it.
Man, I appreciate you, man. And when we connected on social media and I saw some of the stuff that you had going on, I was like, man, we got to have you here to kind of share your experience, share your journey, share your story, but then also share those inspirations that led you to do a lot of what you do. So thank you for taking time out of your schedule to and what's funny about it, we're recording this. This is like 10:30 a.m. Eastern. This is like almost midnight where you are in Korea, correct?
It's 12:30 a.m. right now on Wednesday morning.
Wow. Dedication. And so before we jump into the story, I always like to have the brothers give shout outs, because who are we without those that are surrounding us, that are helping to be the wind beneath our wings? Give a few shout outs, my brother, to those that are on your team.
Listen, my beautiful wife, Shadana, my 5 children, Trey, Lyric, King, Journey, Jansen. Like I say again, thank you guys so much. That's my triplets.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's my teammate, man. I got my Health, Wealth, and Legacy family on the East Coast. I got my Capital Christian family on the West Coast, man. And then over in Korea, of course, all the brothers who support me, man. I really appreciate it.
Yes, what's up, man? Man, hold on. Did you say triplets?
Absolutely, man. Natural, all good things coming through. I keep telling you that, man.
Oh my goodness. And see, fellas, if you're watching this video, you see this stuff that oh my gosh, here we go. This, oh my goodness. Oh, this Kappa stuff. We'll get into this a little bit later, but but congratulations. But real talk, I mean, you actually have triplets.
Natural triplets, brother. They're 11 years old, 2 girls and a boy.
Wow. I'm trying to think, I have a friend who's here that's actually a triplet, but that's like, so you're like the second person I know that actually has triplets.
Oh, brother, it was listen, life changing. Change the trajectory of everything. Change everything.
Golly, triplet. Now, I mean, we'll get into your story a little bit, but okay. So what was it like to find out that you all were having triplets? Like, what was that moment like?
It was one of those, it was surreal, and it's still that way. I mean, we look at each other, my wife and I, and we say, yeah, why us? How us? But real talk, man, real talk. So I had just returned from like an 18-month deployment.
Oh, okay.
You know, so you had a little anticipation, a little build up there, but not that.
A little build up, brother. 18 months. I had a whole lot of build up. But go ahead. That's another conversation.
That's another show for another day. But I'll be honest with you. So we wanted to have another child. Mm-hmm. At that time, you know, my son Trey, he was 12 years old. He's from my previous marriage.
Okay.
He was living with us, and we had Lyric. She was 4 years old at the time, and my wife was like, "Hey, Trey's gonna leave the house eventually. Lyric will be by herself. Let's have another child."
Mm-hmm.
No objection from the brother. I will do my part.
Absolutely, yes.
And so we end up, you know, conceiving. Lyric walked in the kitchen one day, put her hands on my wife's stomach, and said, "You have a baby here, a baby there, and a baby there," and walked out. Right?
Are you serious? Hold on. What do they say? Kids say the darndest things, right?
This was before the physicians didn't see anything. No one saw anything. No one knew nothing. No one said anything to us about multiples. Baby here, baby there, and a baby there. Put our hands exactly where the children were. Came to find out, we didn't find out we were having triplets. The kids were born in March 2008. We found out in December that we were having triplets.
Whoa, hold on. So y'all found out literally 3.5 months.
Bro, listen, doctor, man, my life changed dramatically. I'm talking about I had to remodel the home. I mean, y'all
went from 2 to 5.
Here's my story, man. I say we went from 2 to 5. Our income went from 2 to 1, and my faith level went from 100 to 0, brother. I mean, I was like, God, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do this? But brother, honestly, man, God was faithful, man, and the community came in, helped us out. We were in Atlanta at the time. The community came in. My headquarters, I was working at First Army in Atlanta, and the entire headquarters came together, brother, and the community just wrapped their arms around us. And it's been a blessing. But more importantly, man, the triplets have really been a glue in our marriage, for one thing, because we needed that glue at the time. Just keep transparent. We needed that glue at the time. And it's literally changed the trajectory of my entire life and my ministry, and maybe my ministry, but changed my whole trajectory, brother, because I was doing some other stuff.
Absolutely.
In entrepreneurship, man. And then when I saw this need for fatherhood in my own life, I needed encouragement. And so it was one of those things that it was birthed out of a lot was birthed during that time period, put it that way. Not just trip.
You know what was interesting about how, you all of a sudden started looking to serve, but you were also scratching your own itch because you needed that support. You needed to grow. And so it's like in the process of you growing and becoming more of who you're supposed to be in life and what God's called you to do, you're like, you know what? Why not share this process? Because I'm not unique in that sense. There are other brothers out there that need exactly what it is I'm looking to gain as well.
Exactly, man. If we go back a little bit, I tell you, say God always gives us he gives us prophecies and pivots. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Prophecies, and so we can talk about the prophecies from 25 years ago, but it was some of the pivots that really got me to this point, man. And so like I said, again, I went through a divorce, man, 20-something years ago. 20-something years ago. And I don't know if can we jump into it?
Absolutely. Let's go. This is your story, brother. I'm just here to pull out the nuggets.
Yeah, man. So 20-something years ago, I go through a divorce. I'm a young 20-something-year-old kid, man, and I started over from zero. And I stood before the judge in Clarksville, Tennessee, and he just ripped me up and down, tell me how sorry of a man I was. I'm like, no, I ain't. I mean, I'm ignorant. Yeah, I got it. I'm inadequate. I got it. I'm ill-equipped. Okay, I take that, but I ain't no sorry dude, man. I ain't no bum. But every narrative at that time in the 90s, every narrative supported that perspective, of the young black man.
Absolutely.
You sorry, you nasty, you ain't gonna do nothing ever. I said, sir, I'm going through I'm in 2 different colleges right now, bringing in letters from the dean. This is all I have. I don't have anything else. I've given her all the money. I've given her everything. Now, keep in mind, my ex-wife and I, we're great friends. All right. I said we were just young.
Absolutely.
Shouldn't have been married at the time.
Absolutely.
But then we had that son, Trey. He was 2-3 years old at the time, man. And I'm like, man, first of all, how am I going to be man enough to take care of him? What am I going to do physically, to financially take care of this young man? And I did everything I could. I took care of him. But it was really that. It was out of that. How can I say it, man? That misfortune that launched this ministry. During that time period, like I said, I'm talking about the 90s, man, where nobody was supporting, the black narrative, the black male narrative.
Absolutely.
If I remember right, man, it was Clinton during the 90s that coined the phrase "deadbeat dad."
Absolutely.
It was during that time period, man. And so, again, at that time, I fit that bill because the courts had me going through counseling just to see my son.
Wow.
I was paying like, man, a crazy amount of child support just to be around him. And then every time I was around him, because again, my ex-wife, she and I are friends now, but the stories that she was getting from her friends and her family and all her support system was continue to crush him, beat him down, crush him. Now, if you got her on the phone today, she and I, we laugh about it and we joke about it now because of, again, that's 20 something years ago. Brother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We evolve and grow. Absolutely.
We evolve and grow. But that was one of the biggest pivots, man. I saw how I was treated, and I knew who I was as a man. And I said, dude, if I ever get the opportunity to pour into the lives of other men, to help them to feel more confident about who we are as men, who we are as Black men, who we are as men as a whole, because it's not really, again, it's not about us. It's beyond us. That's what I always say.
Absolutely.
It's not about us. It is beyond us. It is for the sake of our seed. And so,
absolutely.
For the sake of our seed, we have to feel. I like to use the word efficacious. You know, we begin to feel confident. Hold on, I can do this. I can raise my child. And I remember I was at the time, like I said, I was going to University of South Carolina at that time, and I was walking across campus, just feeling like a slug, man, because I could barely take care of my kid, and this full society was saying I was a deadbeat dad, and it was a counselor on campus. He was a therapist. I spent some time and talked to him. So I don't have any money to pay you. I just want to talk to you. And so he said, hey brother, just come in my office every day at this time, and for the next year, I'm yours. And so he had me to answer some questions about me, answer some questions about my family, answer some questions and dig deep, man, to help me to make better decisions for the future. And the first question he asked me was, can you raise your son without your ex-wife? Do you feel like you can do that? You know, this is the 90s, man.
This is deep. Yeah.
This is not, can you raise your son without your ex-wife? And it took me a minute to answer that question. And when I discovered, yeah, I can. I can do that. And he said, okay, why are you selecting the women that you're selecting in your life? What is it about you and what is it about them? Why do you keep picking these type of women? And it took me a while to answer that question. And here's what he said. Here's what he came out with, man. He said, he pulled these answers out of me. He said, you're a protector. You're a natural father figure. And so naturally, women who need to be protected are drawn to you.
Wow.
They're drawn to you. And so you're drawing these type of women because you're a father figure. You're a protector. You're a provider. You're a pattern. So all these, he laid it out. And this is why you're drawing these type of women. He said, so whether or not, if you're there or not, she still needs to be protected. And so you need to find, so he said, okay, now we got that part already. He said, give me 5 negotiables, 5 things that 5 negotiables in a relationship that you can have. Because again, at the time, brother, I'm a young 20-something-year-old man trying to put 2 and 2 together. And he said, okay, 5 negotiables. So the 5 negotiables, he said, okay, I didn't care if the woman I was dealing with was white, Black, Asian. I didn't care if she was 300 pounds. I didn't care if she was educated. I came up with some 5 things that they were kind of throwaways. And then he said, okay, give me 5 non-negotiable stuff that you absolutely, intrinsically, holistically have to have in your spouse to help you to accomplish your vision in life and help you accomplish the things and raise your child. 5 things, brother. I needed a woman to fear God more than she feared me because I knew how influential my mouth was. I knew that I could talk a cat off a fish truck.
Absolutely. Right? You know yourself, right?
I know me. Again, this is after a year, man, of just digging deep and figuring out how not to make this mistake ever again going forward. All right. Number 2, a woman who had a great relationship with her father. Because fathers are the foundation of a home. And if a woman has a great relationship with her father, whether her father left or not, she has a great relationship with her. She understands the protocol of a household. She understands where everybody sits. And again, I'm not above anybody. Fathers, I believe, are founders. We're not, when the Bible talks about the man being the head, and I understand that spiritually. But men kind of we throw that over our women, saying, okay, I lord over you and you must do what I tell you to do. Submit. No, man, you don't deserve, you serve.
Absolutely. Ooh, I like that. You don't deserve, you serve.
You don't deserve, you serve. Listen, you can have the most beautiful edifice on a foundation, but the foundation's cracked and broken, brother. The building will crumble.
It will.
You can have the best furniture in that building. You can have the best timber. But if that foundation is cracked, first of all, they're gonna condemn it.
Absolutely.
And the building cracked. So the fathers are the foundation. So I needed her to understand the protocol of a household. Number 3, I wanted a woman that wanted to be with me, and didn't need to be with me. Wanted to be with me and didn't need to be with me. fourth thing was that my job was not my identity.
Mm.
That didn't make me who I am. If I was a lawyer, a doctor, if I was a trash compact, whatever, that didn't matter. If I was a construction worker, that didn't matter. All right. If I sold cars, that didn't matter. That's not who I am as a person. And number 5, children are my legacy, and I have to have several of them. Right. And so when I laid those 5 down, literally, I mean, dude, as you see, I remember that was 27 years.
Absolutely.
That's who I am. That's who I am. And so when I finally met my wife, like a year or 2 later, I laid them out for her. Hey, these are my 5. These are my 5 non-negotiables. And she sat back. It was May 27th, 2001, 9:45 p.m. in Augusta, Georgia, when I met her, right? And I laid out, these are my 5. This is what I gotta have. Bam. And she said, okay, I can do that. No argument, brother. No argument. From that day forward, when I shared my vision with her and where I was trying to go with my life, she immediately tried to find where she fit in. And
now, when did this happen?
May 27th.
Of what year?
Friday night, 2001, 9:45 p.m. All right, on Richmond Hill Road in Augusta, Georgia. X5.
Wow, off of Richmond Hill Road in Augusta, Georgia, and I was born at University Hospital in Augusta, Georgia.
Stop it, brother. I was born. Listen, St. Joseph Hospital, man, Augusta,
Dude,
Georgia.
I graduated from Westside High School in Augusta, Georgia.
I went to Glen Hills, brother. Stop playing.
Oh my! What year did you graduate from Glen Hills?
Don't want to know. Back in the 80s, man.
Back in the 80s. Oh man, I got a lie. We gonna talk off because I'm again born and raised in Augusta, from Augusta. Whole family's from Augusta. Yeah, Dorsey's, Thurmans, all of that, man. That's
hold on. No, the Dorseys and the Thurmans. Stop it, man. Kim Thurman.
Yeah. Kim Thurman is my aunt.
Man, stop, bro.
Yep. Kim Thurman is my mama's baby sister.
Stop it, man. You better stop.
Yeah. We just saw them a few weeks ago for my 40th birthday party.
Stop it, man.
Mm-hmm.
We talk offline.
We'll talk offline. This is amazing. We connected on social media. I didn't know anything about him and Augusta and all of that. He didn't know anything about me and Augusta and all. Come to find out, there's a deeper connection. Oh man, and I'm gonna tell you what's interesting, man. You mentioned something about these 5 negotiables and 5 non-negotiables, and I want the brothers to pay attention to that, because at the end of the day, we have to compromise in life on some things. But then there are certain things that are non-negotiable that honestly that are hard, fast. Look, these are it, and if these things are not in place, I'm not gonna have the opportunity nor the wherewithal to move forward, because I know that something is not in line with who I am. And so that was extremely powerful, but I'm going to take it back even a little bit. What was even more powerful, and you kind of glossed over it a little bit, but you sought to have the counselor sit down with you. It wasn't like he said, hey, Jackson, I want you to come to my office. You sought him. So it's basically you went out and you went after it. You were seeking answers.
Absolutely. One of the things that we have to realize is that the mind that causes the problem can't solve the problem. You know, because you have too much tooling with it, too much toggling with, and you're going to always tell yourself what you want to hear.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I actually sought out help because I needed to work some things out and compartmentalize some things. And here's the thing: I did not want to repeat my mistakes. You know, we know what he said, what Einstein said, man. You know. About
and say a definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Absolutely.
That's my point, brother. And so I wanted different results. I sought different results. And another thing, man, I knew there was a greater man inside of me. I didn't know how to dig him out.
Ooh, hold up. See, that's something that we got to sit on for a second, because at the end of the day, there is a greater man inside of you. I just did not know how to dig that out. The thing that was so powerful about it was you recognized that there was a greater man inside, and then you also recognized the notion of, I don't know how to pull this thing out. And so, and I think, fellas, pay attention to that, because, you know, there is so much inside of each and every one of us. Again, everybody's not, you know, charged with becoming some billionaire. Everybody's not charged with creating some multinational company. Everybody's not charged with being the face of something, but everybody's charged with doing something. And there's a greater man inside of you. And for those of us that are really honest with ourselves, there are some of us that have the capacity to pull it out, right? But I would say that more often than not, most of us have a greater man inside of us, but we have just not come to the conclusion or the understanding that we don't know how to effectively pull that greater man out, and we need help.
We need help. Exactly. See, next thing about it, we do. We discover our purpose progressively. We
Mm,
discover our purpose progressively. It doesn't happen overnight. So again, some people have a strong family structure where the father is cognizant like yourself and
mhm.
like I've become over the years, where you realize that our job is to help our children to find, follow, and finish their God-given purpose.
Absolutely.
Help them to discover, to develop, and then to deploy their gifts into the world. Now that I know my job as a patriarch, now that I
Mm,
know my job as a father, those things I do intentionally, and I don't just do them for my children biologically. I do them for my children by choice.
mm,
I purposely do these type of things now because again, it took me decades and it took me years of pain to go through this to discover my purpose progressively. And so
mm,
when I'm able to help someone else to identify theirs early, I say, hey, this is what I see in you. And that's what we
mm,
talk about. We talk about the prophecies and the pivots.
mhm,
Most of the pivots I've had in my life has been some man walk up to me and say, dude, there's something greater in you.
mm,
You know, a college professor or a pastor or somebody say, hey, man of God, I see something in you. And I'm not feeling like a man of God right now.
mhm,
I'm falling off a doggone bar stool somewhere,
mm.
or tumbling out of a hotel room, whatever the case
Absolutely.
may be. And they say,
Absolutely.
"Hey, brother, I see what you're doing right now, but
That's not you.
it's not you. I see what
Dude,
you're doing, but it's not you."
dude, man, I'm gonna tell you what's so powerful about that. And fellas, pay attention to this. It's like the power of encouragement, the power of helping people to see stuff that they can't always see themselves. That's why we are so important. That's why platforms like this and
Yeah,
platforms in which Jackson is creating, especially geared towards us, especially geared towards Black men, because historically it has not been a whole lot out there to do that. It's so important because it's speaking and pouring into the brothers in which we maybe historically have not had that thing pouring into us. We need someone to help us at times see things that we cannot see. So therefore, if you see something in another brother, if you see something in someone, in spite of their current circumstance, in spite of what they look like on the outside, take the moment to pour that into them, because you don't know what that little word, what that little wisdom, what that little inspiration can do to help that person pivot. And what people don't realize about a pivot, think about basketball.
yeah.
A pivot in basketball, one of your feet stays put and the other foot is moving. So a
Mm,
pivot is not I'm up and I'm running in a different direction. It's
yeah,
that I'm actually just turning in a different direction.
that's it.
And that's all. So your word of inspiration, your word of wisdom, pouring into that other brother who might not have somebody to pour into him on a daily basis, can help him to keep that pivot foot down and maybe turn and nudge in a direction that puts him on a path that he didn't think was possible, but you see that in him. It's incumbent upon you. It's a responsibility, fellas. We got to do that for each
Man,
other, for real.
that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And I tell you, some of the pivots I've had, man, have been from, and I tell you, some of the most powerful pivots I've had have been from individuals that don't look like us.
Absolutely. It happens from everybody. You got to be open to it. See, to your point, that man, I'm going to tell you, what's so powerful about what you just said is the fact that you must be open. If you in essence seek, you find what you seek, right? Like what you wanted some clarity, you wanted to understand yourself, you wanted to pull this thing out from inside of you that was there, that was buried. So you actually sought out a therapist to help you. You were seeking it, so that's what you found. So in regards to you seeking an opportunity to be your best, it might come from another brother, and I'm encouraging the brothers to be that if possible. But on the
Yeah,
other hand, it might come from somebody who's from a different culture, that speaks a different language, who doesn't look like you. If you're open and you're seeking, you will find it. Go ahead, my
that's
brother.
exactly right. I always say wisdom is in the heart of the hearer, man.
Woo.
Wisdom, you say, eyes in the beauty of the beholder, but
Mm,
wisdom is in the heart of the hearer. Again,
mm,
keep in mind, man, the prophet heard a word from God from a donkey,
mm,
from a
mm.
donkey. So again, wisdom is in the heart of the hearer, man. I've heard some crazy people say some amazing things. It's how you receive it and how it pours, how, like you said, how it pricks your spirit, because you
I've
know when God's speaking to you. I
I've
like when you.
heard I heard some crazy people say some amazing things. Oh boy,
That's
that's a bar. Go ahead. I'm
it.
sorry.
No. That's it, man. That's it. And so it was those pivots. It was those pivots in my life, man, that got me here. This was not my plan.
Mm,
This was not my plan. It was literally God's plan, brother, and He's opened so many doors to this. I'm like, I can't deny this. I cannot walk through, because again, It's not about me. It's beyond me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not necessarily even for the men. It's
Mm-hmm.
for when I realize it's for the children, when I realize that kids are not being protected, that kids are not being provided for, not because black men are sorry or other men are sorry. No, men just honestly just don't feel encouraged enough, don't feel confident enough that they can handle it, that they can do it. But man, listen, we're amazing people. We're an amazing people. And kids, they don't need a perfect dad. They just need a present dad. You know,
Mm.
they need a present dad. Somebody's there. One thing I
Dude.
said, go ahead, brother.
No, I was about to say that it's so powerful. I have a buddy, man. He created this platform called Fatherhood is Lit. And the tagline is presence over presence,
Yeah,
meaning
man.
your presence over giving them presents. And I mean, especially, we're recording this prior to the Christmas season. It's going to release, into 2020. But at the
Yeah,
end of the day, your presence is much more valuable than the presents you give. Be
absolutely.
mindful of that.
Absolutely. Let's say I came up in a neighborhood. I grew up in Terrace Mountain. You don't know if you know
Okay.
Terrace.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And during the 70s, man, you had all these amazing black fathers over
Mm-hmm.
this. My father included, man. My father, he served in Vietnam War, Korean War, but the whole neighborhood was full of those, what I call, man, modern day giants. You know,
Mm.
you had the first black mayor, Ed McIntyre lived in that
Absolutely.
neighborhood. You had the Prince family, you had the Watkins family, you had Henry Brigham, his
Mm-hmm.
family there. You had the Myers family,
Uh-huh. Yeah, yeah, Mr.
yeah,
Myers. Uh-huh. Yep.
yeah, you had all these. I mean, right there. You can take a spoon, man, just dig it in that neighborhood. You're gonna come out with quality. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so you had all those men that you can go from porch to porch, yard to yard, street to street, and they would help shape you. You get a little bit. You had Scott's. You had Joe Scott on one
Mm-hmm.
end of the neighborhood. Like I said, you had Doug Prince dad on the other end of the neighborhood. So you weren't going, and you had my dad on this end of the neighborhood. So you weren't going to leave that neighborhood foolish. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it seems like we got away from that. We dropped our guard,
Absolutely.
uh, and because we were lulled to sleep. We were
Mm.
lulled to sleep in the '80s, and we can talk about that
Mm-hmm.
at another time. But it's those men that I pull from, brother. I pull every story that I've ever spoke about, every story that I ever wrote about, everything that I am is because of all those men in that neighborhood, man. On Tate Road, on Truxton Road, on
Mm.
Arcade Drive, on Bellmead Drive, all those men that some have gone on. My father's still alive. My father's 90 years old, man.
Wow, it's a
And
blessing.
exactly, I honor him every day, brother. I tell him if I could be a tenth of the man that he is, I'd be all right. You
Mm.
know, they raised us, Gil, man. They raised us with half of the money that we make today.
Absolutely.
Half of the money we make today, brother, and they just live so much honor, so much integrity. But the most important thing, though I'll be honest with you, my father never finished high school, brother.
Mm-hmm.
Never finished high school, but his presence was always there.
Mm.
His presence, he was always there. If I ask any of my nieces and nephews, where can you find your grandpa right now? Same place he was 27 years ago,
Mm.
30 years ago, 40 years ago. When he come home from work, he's always in that den. Now, all of his kids went to college. Everybody's doing extremely well. He made certain of that. All right. He's worked his butt off his whole life. But he was always in that den when he came home, and you could always go sit beside him and just glean some wisdom from him,
Mm.
whatever it may be. And he was raised without a father. His father died when he was 5 years old. So I never knew any of my grandfathers.
Mm.
All I knew was him. He could have left. He
Mm.
could have walked out, but he didn't. He was there. He was present. And that's all that matters at times, brother.
And it's interesting, man. He chose to be there. He understood the responsibility, but then the other men in your neighborhood
Oh, bro.
represented the village. And so
Yes.
it's the African principle of it takes a village to raise a child. But a lot of times we omit the fact that grown men, we need a village around us as well. Because some of us were not fortunate, or some were not fortunate to grow up in that village where they had these examples to pull from that basically help to get you in line and to give you wisdom, to give you insight, to help redirect, to help you to pivot in different directions. And so, to your point, I mean, the tagline of this podcast, Black Fathers Now, is bringing the village to the brothers. Because at the end of the day, the reality of now, because we've been so fragmented and we're all split up and all of that, and have hyper focused on the nuclear family, not necessarily this whole collective village that we really have. We have to bring the village back to the brothers for us to start understanding the value prop of being that village for those around us. We have to start looking at kids. You got 5, I got 2, but if I come in contact with any other kids, they're mine. They're mine. Like, I mean, biological or not, they're my kids, and that's how I'm going to look at it. And as brothers, as, Black men, as Black fathers, we have to start looking at that in that particular manner. These kids are all ours. And if we
Yes.
approach it that way, then they can have the stories of Mr. Myers and Mr. Brigham and your dad and all that in Terrence Manor growing up, because it's like, that's what it's supposed to be. It's a village.
Exactly. It's a village. Brother, you said so much, man. I tell you, Patch Adams, he's the famed he said that. He said, we need each other more than we can ever imagine, man. Like I say, the tagline on my latest book that I put out there, man, is we're on this journey together.
Yes.
And that's the thing, brother. We are truly on this journey together, every last one of us. And to your point, when we realize that we need each other, man, it's platforms just like this that creates that village, man, because I need you, brother.
I need you too. And that's why we're here. That's why we've connected. And but see, check this out. It goes back to the concept of intention. See, I'm intentionally reaching out to brothers. You're intentionally reaching out to brothers and folks who can help to build and grow and kind of add value here and add value there. But then because of we're so intentional about that, we didn't even realize that, dude, we came from the same place. We know the same people. We're connected on a deeper level, and we've just scratched the surface from a social media perspective. And so, dude, I'm just saying, be intentional, be focused, walk in the path. I reference this probably every other episode. There's one of my favorite books of all time is The Alchemist. As you start pursuing your personal legend, I say the creator of the universe conspires to help you along on your journey. Just start walking. Brothers, start walking. Don't wait on things to open up. Don't wait on things to clear up. Don't wait on things to be perfect. Start walking. If you've got this thing that's pricked your spirit, walk. Go. I promise you, you're going to have scenarios start popping up that are going to help to usher you along, but you must walk. If you don't walk, it ain't going to happen.
Man, say that again. If you don't walk, it ain't going to happen. I love it, brother. That's exactly right, man. I say that every morning. The universe is conspiring to help me to win.
Come on.
Conspiring to help me to win. People come out the woodwork to help me to win. But I have to say that to myself because, again, we've blocked ourselves so long.
Yes.
Blocked ourselves for so long that, no, we can't have any help. No, this goal isn't for me. No, I can't stand on those stages with these people. No, I'm not gifted enough. I'm not articulate enough. I don't have the pedigree. No. The entire universe is conspiring to help me to win. Because again, because it's not about me, it's beyond me. It's for the people behind my obedience. It's the individuals on the other side of my obedience. So I have to jump. I got to walk. I remember sitting down with I had a business idea some years ago. I'm like yourself, a serial entrepreneur, man. And so I contacted one of my business mentors, and I said, "Can you meet me? I want to share an idea with you." He said, "Sure, I'll meet you." So he sat down with me. We were having coffee, and I started laying my idea out, my business plan. He said, "Jackson, stop. I don't want to hear anything. I don't want to hear you plan. I don't want to see you plan." He said, "Just get on the bike and ride it, because it's easier to maneuver a bicycle when it's moving. You're standing still. All you're gonna do is fall. So either way, you got to make an adjustment. Either your business is going to be extremely successful or it's going to fail miserably, epically fail. Either way, you have to make an adjustment. Just get the ride." And that's exactly what I do, man. So I'll come up with a 1-page business plan every now and then, and I'll start riding. But guess what? Adjustment. I love what you said, brother. Just keep walking. Once you're pricked, just go.
That's it. And so kind of jumping into some of the stuff that you have going on, man, you're an author, you're a speaker, you created this devotional guide for fathers, man. Share with the brothers some of the stuff that you have going on, and just kind of put it out there, man. I'd love for them to hear about what you got popping, man.
Well, like I say, about 10 years ago, man, while in Iraq, man, I want to compile all of these different stories and different conversations I was having with all the brothers on different teams that I was working with. And so I started writing these different stories, and again, real life stories about fatherhood. And literally, I published the book from my desk in Iraq, and I start passing it out to brothers on the teams. I mean, Iraqis, I didn't care. Ugandans, I didn't care. I'm just passing out, and brothers coming back to my desk like, "Dude, this is some meat and potatoes, bro. I can't stop reading this." And so I put it out there, and that was 10 years ago, man. It led to some interviews. It led to me being awarded the National Father of the Year with Bill Clinton back in 2013.
Wow.
I began working with other fathers and fatherhood organizations, even while deployed, creating different organizations like the Morality Empowerment Network, MEN, help helping fathers to live fully engaged and fully alive while deployed or away from home. Because typically when you get away from home and you drop your guard,
Absolutely.
anything can happen.
Absolutely.
And I really want men to go back into their homes whole. You know what I mean? I want to go back to their home. And so we created that organization. Since then, like I said, just been traveling the world, man. South America, Brazil, all over the United States, man. Just working with fathers, doing different workshops, health, wealth, and legacy tours. So, and then lately, like I said, I just did finish up a devotional called "They Call Me Daddy." We're on this journey together. And this one, we're trying to get 100,000 copies into the hands of young fathers today. And again, this has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with me. I want young people. I want fathers, not young fathers, old fathers, seasoned fathers, grandfathers, to feel confident about fatherhood. It's filled with inspirational stories. It's filled with strategies and different tools and tips on how to manage your household. And so one thing I do teach is helping fathers to lead where they live. What drove a lot of this is I see military officers, business leaders, CEOs, man, like I say, continue to just crush it at work, do amazing things at work, home runs at work, and then foul out at home. I've met several, like I say, leaders who do amazing stuff at the office, and their wife and children can't stand them.
Man, dude, can I park there for a second? That's one of the things that's so interesting. As we idolize, as we kind of put people up on pedestals, we see that they're gifted in certain areas, but just because you're gifted in one area, one aspect of life, does not mean that you're automatically gifted in something else. Everything you touch is not gold. Yes, you might have business success, but your relationship or your communication style or something might not necessarily line up. So, and it goes back to what you mentioned earlier, how we all have this thing, this greatness inside of us. We don't always know how to dig it out, or we don't have that shovel to dig it out. So entrepreneurially or financially, you might have that down pat. You might have the shovel and know how to go and, create $1 million business with the snap of your finger by the end of the month. That might be a gift of yours. But as it pertains to you and your wife, you might need a little bit of help. Or as it pertains to you and your kids, you might need a little bit of help. And sometimes if you have success over here, you might default into, I can just buy my way out. Well, she got all the cars she wants. She got the house that she wants. The kids got everything they need. What else do they want from me? They want you.
Come on, brother. See, that's one thing we do. We hide behind our gifts. Not we just black men, but we as people, we hide behind our gifts because it's comfortable.
Absolutely.
Again, when we talk about you talk about being anointed or being gifted, again, your gift is not for you. Your gift is for other people. Your gift is for the service of the community. Your gift is for the service of other people. Everything else, you're right. You're absolutely right, brother. We got to work on. We have to work on those things, and that's where we need one another. That's where we can literally, brother. I'm telling you, I get phone calls over here 3 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, all throughout the day from some powerful brothers that say, dude, I need some help in this particular area. And like yourself, man, I shut everything down and pour into them. Because they realize when a person realizes I need help, they need help, and they reach out to you, man, you're obligated.
Absolutely. No choice.
You're obligated to pour into them, man. And so that's what we do, man. So I have a podcast as well called Fully Engaged and Fully Alive, where we do that exact same thing, man. We pour into life with people words of encouragement. We talk about, I have 3 principles that I constantly talk about, whether I'm I call them 3 bins. Bins of health, wealth, and legacy. I believe those are some of the 3 3-legged stool in life, man, that if one of those things fall, you got some problems. Our health, wealth, and legacy. You can be the most gifted, most powerful individual in the world. But if you're not taking care of your physical body, you're not taking care of this temple, then it's all for naught.
Absolutely.
Our wealth, we have to be fiscally responsible. We talk about entrepreneurship. We talk about, debt management. We talk about, just again, fiscal responsibility. And then our legacy. Nothing else is more important than what we leave behind. Like I said, there's no success without a successor. No success without a succession plan. And so I teach men how to build vision statements and mission statements for their families. Because we do in business, and again, I have an MBA, in built businesses and stuff, man. And we start off with what's my mission? What are we here for? What are we establishing this business for? Well, again, what did God establish this family for? Why did you and I get married? Why are we here? At 200, at 90 years old, when we turn around, what would we have accomplished? What is our, why are we together? And so when you can sit down with your bride and say, sweetie pie, darling, why are we together? I know you're cute. I know you got great legs, but why are you here in my life, and why am I here in your life? What are we to accomplish with the 5 children that God gave us? And so when we're able to establish, this is our mission statement, this is our vision, here's what happens. Now you've given the entire family purpose. Now you're giving your children purpose. If you look through the Bible, man, and you see a certain family, they're the tanners. This family, they're the blacksmiths. This family here, they make gold. This family here does woodwork. That's the mission of that particular family. That's what they're put on that planet to do. You know, I can name families in when we grew up, a family full of educators. You know, everybody in the family's educated. Everybody in the family's in the medical field. Everybody in the family. Listen, brother, that wasn't by accident.
It's a legacy.
It's a legacy. Some grandfather, some man somewhere, somebody a long time ago said, "You're gonna go in the medical field." I know. Listen, I know you're a great artist. Listen, I know you like to cut grass, but you are going to study medicine because it's not about you and about your happiness and about your comfort. You have to take care of the rest of the family forever and ever and ever. You know, and so as dads, that's what we do. I'll share this with you, brother. In another book I have coming out talking about the power of the patriarch, and we've gotten away from that word, the patriarch. You know, patriarch. It's those foundational words. You know, father. When we talk about father, we're talking about Abba, the source. That's the Hebrew. And in Greek, it's pater, Pater, and that's where we get the word pattern from, blueprint. All right. So when fathers understand that we have 5 principles to make an impact, 5 principles, and I'll share them with you real quick if you got a second, bro.
Yeah. Go ahead.
5 patterns. So five principles to make an impact. A father has to pattern. Again, he has to set the blueprint for the family. Number 2 is provision. Now, this provision, like I say, I'm a full-time military guy. I'm a college professor at 2 different universities. I write books. I speak. All that stuff. Now, all that stuff, dude. And again, I was thinking that was I was providing. You know, financial stability for my family. Man, I got woke up one morning probably about 2 or 3 years ago, and God said, "Son, I need you to really look up the word provision. What does it mean?" Because I'm thinking I'm doing the right thing, taking care of my family. Everybody's eating, you're driving good, you're eating good, you're looking good. Okay, so I'm straight. The word provision means providere. It's from the Latin word providere, which means to provide vision.
Provision. Provide vision.
I am to provide vision for my family. So again, that means going ahead of my family, sitting down with my COO, my chief operation officer, my wife, and I'm the CEO. So I sit down and say, okay, why are we established? Why did we establish this LLC called a family? What are we supposed to be doing? And you lay out that vision. And again, there are tools for that.
Absolutely.
franklincovey.com. Look at whatever you can look at. But create a family vision and a family mission statement. Bam! Now you got it in paper. Now you got it in writing. So here's the leadership principle there. The leadership principle there is whether I'm in the house or not in the house, the business, the vision, the family still goes on. And again, I'm in the military. I spend years away from the house at times. You know what I mean? Months. I have to rest assured that the family is still rolling.
Absolutely.
That my legacy is still rolling. Number 3, I mentioned pattern. I mentioned provision. Now, protection. A father, a patriarch is supposed to protect. Now, not just, of course, physical protect, but
Absolutely.
you have to protect the ears and the eyes gates of your team.
Absolutely.
Your you got to protect what's coming into the house. Protect their friends. Be very, very proactive in picking their friends. Again, when we grew up, we couldn't just hang around anybody.
No. But well, first off, you couldn't sneak around no way because we had back 4 generations of people all around. So whether I knew you or not, somebody knew me. Oh, you're Earl and Maxine's grandson. Oh, you're Jap and Leona's grandson. Oh, you're Keith and Maggie's son. Oh, you know what? You're Kim and Dave's nephew. Oh, you're so man. All of that. Of that. I mean, literally. I mean, you stop and you think about it. It's like, that's that protection.
That's this village we're talking about here.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about here. And the fourth thing is to prepare. A patriarch is supposed to prepare, which we talked about earlier. It's our job as patriarchs. It's our job is to help our children find, follow, and finish their God-given purpose. Help them to discover to develop and then to deploy their gift to the world. You know, you look at the patriarchs of old, when they brought their sons into the house right before they died. You're going to do this. You're going to do that. They didn't give them no choices. They go be happy. We're one of the only cultures, man, that do that. In other cultures of this world, man, no, you're going to be an engineer. You're going to go be an architect. Dad, I don't like math and science. We'll learn it. This is what our family does. This is what we do. You know, so our job is to prepare and help shape and help mold our next generation. Because listen, man, at most we have 120 years. I don't know many effective people that lived over 120 years. 120 years, that's not a lot of time. The scope, there's not a lot of time. So you have 120 years to prepare for the next generation. And here's what I love my buddy says. My buddy says it's not about passing the torch. It's about lighting the torch for other people.
That's it. That's big. It's not giving it away. It's just lighting somebody else's. And guess what? As you light somebody else's, then you got more than one light to kind of guide the way.
That's the point. Because I still need to see too. I'm not gone yet. I'm not passing you the torch. No, brother, I'm gonna light your torch so you can see. Now we both see. Now, like you said, now both of us can see the way. And the last thing,
that's deep. That's deep.
The last P, man, is to avoid passivity. To avoid passivity. To be intentional about everything I just said. To be intentional about being a pattern. To be intentional about providing for your family, giving a vision for the family. Being intentional about protecting. And being intentional about preparing, to be intentional about these things, to wake up every morning with the mindset, hold on, man, every day I am developing my replacements. That's a leadership principle. If I'm not building my replacements, if I'm not teaching my replacements, if I'm not mentoring at home, then something's wrong. That's something wrong. If I'm not coach teaching and mentoring at my house, bro, something is wrong. My children get to mimic everything that I say and do.
I'm building my replacements.
You know what I mean?
Building my replacements. Man, I heard Patrick Lumumba, he's a speaker. I think he's out of South Africa. He said, true success is when my successor succeeds. Like,
that's it.
And that's what it is. And building my replacements, and I thought back to the analogy you gave about it's not passing the torch, it's lighting the torch of someone else. And the reason that you light someone else's torch, and ultimately the goal is to light as many torches as you can, because eventually your torch is going to blow out.
Come on.
So when your torch blows out, you want to have all these other torches that are lighting the path so that when yours blows out, nobody really knows that your torch is out because everything is well lit.
Come on, brother. Come on. You said something right there. You said something right there. But more, I love that. But then guess who gets the credit for lighting all those torches? You get the credit for lighting all those torches. So, brother, that's a beautiful thing.
But check this out. And I think this is something that we have to think about a little bit as well. And you mentioned something there, the concept of credit, right? And I think sometimes a lot of us restrict what we can do, or we don't do as much as we can do because we might not get the credit, right? So I want to ask you, do you know the names of your great-great-grandparents off the top of your head?
No, of course not.
Okay. Do you know the names of your great-grandparents? Top of your head?
Nope.
Do you know the names of your grandparents? Top of your head?
Maybe two of them. Yep. Gertrude and Lucille. Yep.
Okay. So stop and you think about this. That's your direct family, right? And so after 2 generations above you, you really don't have much information you don't know the names of. And unless your great or great-great-grandparents have bridges named after them or schools named after them, or there was something or stories passed down specifically about them, honestly, after 2 or 3 generations, even in our own family, we honestly kind of forget a whole lot of the nuances of them. And so as it pertains to being remembered and getting credit, that credit and that memory will fade at some point. Right.
Exactly.
But those concepts and those principles that you instill in the generations to come, they might not remember that it came from my great-great-great-great-grandfather. But because my great-great-great-great-grandfather instilled the pattern, the provision, the protection, they prepared, and they avoided the passivity, those things are embedded into their psyche, into their DNA that then gets replicated for generations to come. So technically, you might not on a personal level get credit, but your job is well done, my good and faithful servant, because you've lit these torches that are now lighting the path to go forward, whether you get credit or not. So fellas, I want you to think about this. Don't restrict what you can do just because you're not necessarily getting the credit, just because you didn't get credit on the work, or just because you didn't get credit as the author of. If you can take a step back and look and see that, you know what, stuff is going forward, and I had this internal satisfaction knowing that I did what I was supposed to do, carry on. But don't restrict just because you don't get credit. I think that's something that personally we all have to come to grips with. I even think about, you're wearing your fraternity sweatshirt, and I have, my fraternity representative over here, and I stop and I think about it. I mean, sometimes even with fraternal organizations, we don't do as much as we can do collectively as organizations, because it's not led by my organization, or it's not led by your organization. So we'll show up, but we're not gonna really do all that we can do, because we can't take the picture, check the box, and get the credit for it. And I think that's something we have to be honest about, look in the mirror and realize that everything you're not gonna get credit for, and that's okay.
And that's okay. You gotta be okay with that. You gotta be okay with it. And that comes with maturity, man.
Yes.
That comes with maturity. Like I say, the older I get, dude, I'm gonna say this. I don't remember most of the names of those people that pivoted me. I don't remember their names, but I thank God for them.
Absolutely.
I thank God for them. And again, in the kingdom is giving them credit for it.
Absolutely.
But I don't remember their names. And they don't remember my name, but they knew they had an obligation to turn this young man around. They had an obligation to point me in a different direction, to change my trajectory. And guess what? And we have that same obligation, man.
And you know what they did for you? They lit your torch.
They lit my torch, brother. They lit my torch. Amen. And it was my obligation to light others, man.
That's it. We have no choice. And so, dude, I mean, you got so much going on, so much that brothers need to check out. So what's the best way for the brothers to check out what you have going on, to follow you, to grab one of your devotionals, to grab one of your books, to book you to come speak? What's the best way for folks to connect with Jackson Drumgoole, brother?
So my website is www.jacksondrumgoole.com. You go to my website. You can check out some of the things we have going on, things we've done. You can go to, of course, I'm on all the social media sites. Instagram, I'm Jackson Drumgoole. I'm in Facebook. Again, go to Amazon for my books. You just type in my last name, Drumgoole, and you'll see some of my books come up there. And again, just reach out to me on my website, man, jacksondrumgoole.com, and trust me, I'll respond back. I'm happy to hear from anybody, happy to jump in anywhere. Trust me.
Awesome. So fellas, literally, and I'm going to have that in the show notes, jacksondrumgoole.com, and make sure to follow Jackson Drumgoole on Facebook and Instagram. Reach out to the brother, man. Grab some of his stuff. Check him out. I mean, just go back and forth. Remember, he was the National Father of the Year in 2013. Come on, man. The brother got the devotional, They Call Me Daddy. I mean, come on, man. Just call me daddy. Fellas, reach out. Now, I know ladies are there too, so y'all reach out as well, because I know y'all are listening and paying attention. Direct your dude to check out Jackson Drumgoole and connect and grab some stuff, man. Support this brother. He's a wealth of information.
Yeah, grab the book for the father in your life. Grab the book for the dad in your life. Your nephew, your son, if he has a child or expectant. Again, this is good information. It's not about me, man. It's beyond me, and it's for the sake of our seed.
For the sake of our seed. It's not a better way to end this, brother. Man, I thank you so much for taking time in the middle of the night over in Korea to chop it up with the Black Fathers Now family. And, I thank you for you. And, brother, please continue doing what you're doing. It's bigger than you. This is a purpose. This is a mission. Yeah. And guess what? It's going to continue until we don't have any more light left on our torch. And at that point, hopefully, it's well done, our good and faithful servant.
Amen. Hey, God bless you, brother. I love you, brother. I love you and appreciate everything you're doing, Doc.
Man, love you too, man. I appreciate you, brother. And fellas, make sure to follow Jackson Drumgoole. Visit jacksondrumgoole.com, and I'll definitely have his contact information in the show notes. Follow Jackson Drumgoole on Facebook and Instagram, and let him know you heard about him on Black Fathers Now. Grab some of his books. Grab this latest book, They Call Me Daddy. I mean, come on. Y'all grab it. Grab it, support him, and let him know that you heard about him on Black Fathers Now. And as always, fellas, make sure to follow Black Fathers Now on all the social media outlets. Visit blackfathersnow.com. Make sure to share this episode and others, as we're here to really help to pour into the brothers, because we want to make excellence in Black fatherhood the new average. excellence in Black fatherhood is going to be the new average, and we're doing our part to add to that. All right. Well, hey, as always, fellas, make sure to be blessed, well, and wise. And I'll holler at you. Peace.